All right, y'all, today we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to see for its local search, see for its city search if either of them, any of them got BSS. And we're back here in the GBC universe where we're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, aka full spectrum intent capture. If you want more info on that, yeah, somewhere, pin post, pin video on the profile. And it's our North Star because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. Those that are rising, they're probably bringing in peeps from the entire intent ladder, the intent spectrum. High intent here on the left to low intent way over on the right. Here we talk about the highest intent peeps, Google search, social media search, searching right now for a boudoir photo shoot in our city. That's where we talk about BSS. All the way at the other end, those are interruption ads like Facebook, Instagram. It's our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. And right now over there, we're only working with boudoir photographers spending more than 10 grand a month on boudoir Facebook ads. So we're focusing on the two intent extremes right now. So here we're talking about BSS, which is boudoir search sameness. As when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots means if we're not on page 1, we basically don't exist. We're on page 2 or deeper. And we already know that approximately 80% of Google searches never go past page 1. So that's the bulk of the market, that's most of the market. And if they have zeros, basically if we're in 0 slots on page 1, we're basically invisible and we're going downhill pretty fast. 1 slot on page 1, Google is not good enough either, because every other boudoir photographer on there is also going to have most likely 1 slot. So, if there's 10 organic slots per Google, search page, the a buyer is just going to be clicking on everyone's website, contacting everyone, price shopping us against literally everyone, and as a result, we're actually going to, we're actually going to not stand out, be price shopped. People probably go to the lowest bid, all things like that. So boudoir search sameness, no bueno. We also know that 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Yeah, it's not normal to have such few number of slots for ourselves on page 1 of Google. Extremely common, but not normal. This is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. There's 2 deeper root causes. One, basically everyone knows about, market saturation, and another one, basically nobody knows about, the false belief of page 1 equality. So first, market saturation, that's someone getting a new iPhone, then they're throwing up their Google My Business profile saying they shoot boudoir. Now they got a website saying they shoot boudoir, saturating the market. Or someone gets a new camera, now they're posting the mom groups saying that for boudoir photo shoots. So it's more sellers to the same number of buyers, driving down the price for everyone. And usually this results in other boudoir photographers kind of getting kicked out of the market, going bankrupt, closing down shop. Now, basically everyone knows that. And also a big thing that happened with that was COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, still to earn money, became boudoir photographers because everyone's got a great camera on their phone, on their cell phone. And so that was another, supply shock, seller shock. Way more sellers to the same number of buyers. Was when COVID happened. Now the not currently very known false belief of page 1 equality. That belief is that kind of every boudoir photographer gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google, and maybe we had our website ranked on page 1 of Google, but then more boudoir photographers came in, kicked us down to page 2, and like, oh, that's simply that's simply how it is. Kind of just we simply gotta take what Google gives us. Hopefully that other person closes down and deletes their website so Google can maybe pull us back onto page 1. But it's kind of out of our hands. That's the belief of page 1 equality, whereas every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on page 1, and that's simply how it is. But that's a false belief. I know that's a false belief because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 search to 9 out of 10 slots Google page 1 search in 10 days. Why? Because I knew page 1 equality is a false belief, and my hypothesis was Google would give me as many slots as I want, page 1 slots, as I wanted to put in the effort to acquire for whichever keywords I want to put in the effort to acquire them from. So That's exactly what I did, which we'll see those results in, whatever, 2 or 3 more pictures. So page 1 equality, false belief. We also know that boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, so having either 0 or 1 slots, page 1 of Google, is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Because look, if you got 0 slots on page 1, we already know approximately 80% of Google searches do not go past page 1. So we're invisible to 80% of the marketplace. So yeah, we're definitely disappearing. For 1 slot on page 1, we're looking the same as everyone else. We're price shopped to death. We're disappearing as well. And this is kind of the canary in the coal mine, where BSS causes disappearing boudoir photographers, and basically all disappearing boudoir photographers also have BSS, what kind of is foreshadowing for the eventual disappearance of the entire boudoir photography business. So it's the canary in the coal mine. So we got to solve first. We got to stop the bleeding here. And luckily we have a solution, because we now have learned through extensive testing that BSS is treated with social search saturation. This is our S-cubed methodology. We invented it. You cannot get this solution from anybody else. And social search saturation is exactly what it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent search terms to show up there and kick everyone else out. These are kind of like, the smaller rivers that feed into the Amazon. And kind of when we do that successfully, that flows down into the Amazon, flows onto Google. And many times Google will start giving us more and more page 1 slots for those more and more keywords we're ranking for in social search. So it's called social search saturation S-cubed methodology. We want to be saturating social search at all times, because if we're not, someone else in our city probably is. If nobody is, then we got the first mover advantage to do it. So S-cubed methodology, the magical thing about this is the only thing I've ever seen for boudoir photographers that can successfully fight against market saturation and essentially render it, null and void. Because imagine we're in Miami, Florida. Let's say there's 1 million boudoir photographers. Everyone's got a website for their boudoir photography business. They're ranking it. They're competing for page 1 Google search. But let's say we take S-cubed methodology to the max. We rank for the first, 300 slots for the highest intent search terms for boudoir in our city across all the major social media platforms. So we saturate social search. We're there. Can't find anyone until slot 301 and after. As a result, we're saturating the first 300 slots on Google as well. Well, each page on Google is 10 organic slots, and so that's 30 pages. They gotta go page. Basically, any buyer's gotta go page 31 to find any of our 999,999 competitors, because we cranked S-cubed methodology up to the maximum. So, whose business is growing? Ours. Whose business is growing the fastest in the city? Ours, because buyers can essentially really only find us, because we're everywhere they look. Basically, we're gonna kick out, box out all the other competitors, and we already know, approximately 80% of Google searches never go past page 1. So they definitely ain't going to page 31. So this is what S-cubed methodology enables us to do for all those who want to put in the effort to achieve it. Now, once you're with S-cubed methodology, we have page 1 visibility. We're finally visible on page 1, even though if we had 1 slot there, we're not actually visible there because we look the same as everyone else. We get an added bonus of this, where we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1, effectively making them invisible. They get kicked out to page 2 or deeper. And again, we know approximately 80% of boudoir photographers, or approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. They're page 1 only searches, which means page 2 and deeper is invisible, disappearing boudoir photographer, canary in the coal mine. Eventually, the boudoir photography business will disappear. So we achieve page 1 visibility once we overcome market saturation and page 1. We crash through the false belief of page 1 equality. And page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So here we want to hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots on page 1 for local search and city search. Because when we're at 3 out of 10 slots, I mean, we've kicked off at least 2 to 3 other competitors from page 1. Also, compared to everyone that has 1 slot on page 1, we got 3. People are going to say, wow, why is Google recommending this person so much? They're going to auto-trust us more. And the very rare chance someone else has 2 slots on page 1, well, we're at 3, and so we're always beating them. So it activates boudoir search visibility for us. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. This is our micro universe here. We got disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, caused by market saturation and page one equality. We now have a solution now, S-cubed methodology. And as a result, we achieve page one visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. Now onto my results I got using this. So I was using this, I want to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. And I use S-cube methodology, that's exactly what I did. And what I actually did was, here, organic, we started spot one, we got organic slot one, we got organic two, we got organic. So slot three, me, slot four, me, slot five, me, slot six, me, slot seven, me, slot eight, me, and slot 10 is me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page one to 9 out of 10 slots on page one in 10 days. And this is through utilizing S-cubed methodology that we invented, that cannot get us from anyone else. We invented it, we created it. And so this is the power of S-cubed methodology. Now the main event here, we're going to check out this boudoir photography business, check out its local search, city search, see if we got any BSS, see if we're in the GBC recommended minimums. All right, so we're going to Henderson, Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, let's see, Henderson, Nevada. All right, so let's see what we got. Nope. Nope. All right, we got 0 out of 10 for Henderson, Nevada, so we got BSS there. And now we're going to Las Vegas. All right, let's go. All right, so let's check this. All right, we got one. There we go. Boom, we got one. All right, so we got 1 out of 10. All right, so going back to our, all right, so local search, Henderson, what's that? Is that part of Las Vegas? I believe that's my best guess. So we're at 0 out of 10 slots there. So we got BSS, we're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page one, Google search. Las Vegas, we got 1 out of 10. So we still do have BSS with boudoir search sameness. And we also are not meeting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page one of Google search. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've already went and done local search, your city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you got, either 0 or 1 slots page one on Google, or you've now met the minimum GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 slots page one on Google. And you understand the false belief of page one equality now is exactly that, a false belief. It's made up, it's not true. No need to auto-believe it. You're seeing that Google actually give us as many page one slots as we want to take, as we want to put in the effort to take. And you're seeing, okay, S-cubed methodology is the only solution forward, and it is the best solution for me. You've been waiting for something like this, because with Google PPC ads, at most you're getting one extra position, even if they got 4 or 5 slots available. And the momentum for those dies once you stop paying for the ads. But with S-cubed methodology, there is momentum with it. Not permanent, but there is way more momentum with it. With not infinite momentum, but there's way more momentum than momentum going to 0 when you stop spending on ads. And you can take way more slots page one on Google. So they get all these initial benefits. New basically new more page one slots, kicking. You actually really like kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, relegating them to the dustbin of page 2 or deeper, making them disappear in boudoir photographers, and eventually their entire business disappear. And you understand the market saturation stuff. Over time people get new gear, become boudoir photographers, and but you're looking ahead and you're seeing, man, AI is taking people's jobs right now, and it's only going to take more and more people's jobs into the future. And as a result, you're seeing, wow, way more boudoir photographers going to be entering the market in the future than any time in the past. There's way more people going to be losing their jobs compared to COVID. And you're basically you realize you got to fortify your position on page one. You got to have backup links to your current page one links that are dominating as many slots as possible on page one, then backup links to those backup links. So you're backed up all the way to page 2, 3, and 4 with all your links. basically guarantee no current boudoir photographers can ever rank page one, nor any future boudoir photographers of peeps who lost their jobs due to AI can rank on page one. And you realize then, you got to fortify, kind of like fortifying the levees in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city is underneath, below sea level. So you got to fortify from the ocean. So you're realizing you got to fortify it, and you're saying, okay, the only solution that can do that as well is still SQ'd methodology. And you want to achieve page one visibility to become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. And you want all these things because you are, you need them on your way to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're also understanding the real backend stuff, and you're liking the future benefits of utilizing SQ methodology now, which we have not talked about yet. But basically, every single day we execute SQ methodology, we're building up these invisible thematic keyword columns around our business, kind of like plugged into our business, like the columns of the Parthenon in Athens, Greece, or the columns, or like hub and spoke of the center of a bicycle tire. And with all these invisible thematic keyword columns, it actually builds up AI mindshare in the back end. So every single day we successfully execute SQ methodology, we increase the probability of being shown here AI overview. Premium, dude, super premium placement. Cannot buy this placement with ads, and it is 100% organic. And would be the only one served there. Basically the only one found there. And we'd be having those slots for ourselves. So once you're seeing that, you are saying, oh yeah, you want that feature benefit as well. And you actually want the other feature benefit, which is we're increasing the probability AI search actually recommends us with the standard AI search apps like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. And you know that every day successfully executing these things, higher chance to get shown up in AI search, which you want because way more peeps utilizing AI search every single day. I know last time I searched for a boudoir photographer in a city, I looked for a few. And I did with ChatGPT, and dude, it recommended me 3 in the ChatGPT search. And when I went to search on Google or Facebook, like manually, dude, there's like 60. I was like, dude, we got to find a way to get in this AI search, and SQ methodology can provide that. Also, like the benefit of estimated benefit of creating a known brand approximately 8x faster than any other strategy, because we're on so many more surfaces with such a higher frequency than everyone else. And you also like in that you can get all these benefits, and you understand that my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you decide to become a first mover in your city to kind of lock yourself into use it, prevent all your other boudoir photographer competitors in your city from using it, and kind of build up, get all these benefits, get all the links on page one, kick out your competitors page one, get the back-end AI mindshare going, build up such a massive gap between you and all your current competitors and any future competitors coming from losing their job due to AI that will be entering the market as boudoir photographers, that you can, basically the gap will be so large, essentially nobody can ever catch you. And conversely, on the flip side, you understand that if one of your boudoir photographer competitors signs on with me first, then they're getting all those benefits. You're getting kicked off page one. You may even kicked off page 2. Maybe we can kick you off page 3 or 4. And your competitors taking all those links, all those slots. You are actually, and your competitor, me and your competitor are building that AI mindshare on the back end. They're building their brand approximately 8x faster than any other strategy out there. Higher chance they're getting shown AI overview, higher chance they're getting shown AI search, being way more known and freezing you out. And for you to compete, you'd have to actually rederive successfully SQ methodology. And I mean, you've never derived it in the first place, so how could you ever be 100% confident you've derived it correctly? And then you'd have to equal our execution every single day. But if you did that, you'd simply maintain the gap, meaning your competitor would have already gained on you. And you'd actually have to, 2 to 3x our output every single day in order to close that gap. But you're not even 100% confident you've derived the strategy correctly, so you don't even want to do the 2 to 3x effort every single day, because you don't even know if you're putting the effort in the right way. And also, who's got the 80 hours to do that much work every single day? So after hearing all that, you decide to be the first mover advantage, first mover. Just don't want to miss out on this opportunity. So if that's you, shoot me a DM. My DMs are currently closed. The hospital is currently closed to new patients, but when the hospital does open to new patients, shoot us a DM, and we will see if you qualify for utilizing our S cubed methodology.